Crazy Horse Memorial, which honors the North American Indian, all tribes. It's a mountain carving and much more. This is how the non-profit memorial will look when completed, a vast educational and cultural center. It'll include the Indian Museum of North America and the University and Medical Training Center for the North American Indian. The focal point is the mountain, where the face of Crazy Horse was completed and unveiled in 1998. That was on the memorial's 50th anniversary, which included the first blast of the second 50 years of progress. Lakota elders picked Crazy Horse for the mountain carving, and they insisted the memorial be located in the Black Hills. The hills are revered by Native people, such as Olympic champion Billy Mills.
Crazy Horse Memorial, I think, needs to be, it represents two things to me. It represents the integrity of our elders who asked Korshak to build a monument honoring one of our chiefs in our sacred Black Hills. And that is a commitment we should never lose sight of. Just as I will never ever lose the feeling, the sacredness of the Black Hills to me. Our elders made a commitment. They wanted Korshak to build a monument honoring our people, our way, our culture, our values. I think the elders were not only correct, I think it was visionary to put a man who I think is sacred, his image is sacred, and to place it in the Black Hills, which is sacred. It's the only place it could have been.
To carve the mountain, the elders picked sculptor Korchak Chilkovsky, whose physical appearance changed along with the mountain. Following his death in 1982, the project's been continued by his wife Ruth and their large family. In 1939, the sculptor's dramatic marble portrait of Paderewski won first prize at the New York World's Fair. That gave Chief Standing Bear and his fellow chiefs the idea to invite Korchak to the Black Hills.
You know, I've been an orphan since I was a year old. I was born in Boston. I was brought up by an Irish prize fighter. And I always told him when I was 16 I was going to beat, but I was just going to whip him, that's all. When I was 16 I couldn't quite do it, so I left him. I went to work on the waterfront. And I always said I wanted to do something worthwhile with my life. And I wanted to become a sculptor. And then one day when I was 13, I read about this man Bolton carving a mountain. Little thinking that about 16 years later I was only working as his assistant on Mount Rushmore. Then I got a letter from this old Indian I've never met, standing there. And he asked if I'd build a memorial to their people, so the white people know that that man had great heroes also. Well, I got myself up. Being American of Polish descent, I thought that was it wasn't too much to ask for. And I had no place to go. So I decided to dedicate my life doing this.
Korchak felt both the glory and the tragedy of the Native Americans were reflected in Crazy Horse's short life and death. His sculpture shows Crazy Horse declaring proudly, "My lands are where my dead lie buried."
He was a spiritual leader, he was a warrior. He portrays what I see as a Lakota, a spiritual existence, a spiritual being living a human experience. And that was Crazy Horse.
Crazy Horse was one of the strategists at the Battle of the Little Big Horn. He never signed a treaty and refused to live on a reservation. He was stabbed in the back by a soldier while under a flag of truce. Crazy Horse died on September 6, 1877. Korchak was born 31 years later on that same day, September 6th. Many Native Americans consider that an omen he was destined to carve Crazy Horse. The memorial began very humbly. Korchak lived in a tent the first 7 months. Like a pioneer, he cut trees to build a log studio home. There was nothing here, no roads, water, or electricity. When he started work on the 600-foot-high mountain, Korchak was almost 40 and had only $174 left to his name.
Can you imagine how humble I started with the mountain? I started with a single jacket, a paddle, and a steel. And I drilled my holes around 3-4 feet deep and bowed feet long from the compressor on the ground up to the top of the mountain. And I bought a jackhammer. Now, this took 2 years to get all this done. And then I bought another hammer, and then my steel. Dynamite is rather expensive, and my electric camp. So for the first 7 years, I climbed up 741 steps, and I carried everything up on my back. When I go up, I stopped the big compressor. I used to crank it, you know, and I put a 50-pound box of dynamite in one shoulder, put a wire, a string of bits around my neck. Then I'd take maybe an 8 or 10 or 12, 14-foot steel in my left hand, and that's how I start up the mountain. The old Buddha, the old compressor, was kind of decrepit, and I get sometimes part of the way up, and I just hear that thing go kaput, 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 kaput. Put everything down, walk all the way down the staircase, start it up again, crank it up, wait there 5 minutes, start up the mountain, pick everything up, go up to the top, which is quite a distance, put all my things down, get my air valve cleaned out, oil the hammer, pick it up, get my starter steel in it, just start to drill one hole, get down about a foot, and you could hear the big Buddha, kaput, kaput, kaput. Down I'd go again. One day I did that 9 times. You know, that gets awful old. Oh, I think that walk up and down there is terrible.
Korchak worked alone for years, but mountain goats kept him company. The goats loved the staircase, and they climbed it right along with Korchak. They've never left in spite of the decades of blasting. The old Buddha symbolized the severe financial hardship, but there also was joy. Korchak married Ruth Ross, and they began their family of 10 children, 5 boys and 5 girls. Korchak even delivered one of them. There were so many kids in school at one time, they attended their own one-room school at Crazy Horse. They also learned by helping their parents in rather unusual ways.
Well, see now, you see why we had 10 children. They were all, the boys were necessary up in the mountain, and the girls were necessary down here to help mother with the visitors. That was rather hard work to keep on pounding that dynamite in.
The first blast took off only 10 tons. It was at the June 3rd, 1948 dedication, attended by 5 survivors of the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Comparing then and now shows the dramatic change, with more than 8 million tons of granite blasted off so far. The progress is measured in tons and in decades. The first rock removed was from the area in red, in front of Crazy Horse's face. It took Korchak 5 years working alone. Next, he leveled this area in red above the arm, which will be more than 200 feet long. Cutting the tunnel under the arm was the hardest part. When finished, that huge opening could hold a 10-story building. It took more than a decade to remove this area. It's in front of the horse's head, which will be 219 feet high. Korchak had blocked out much of the sculpture before he died. Since then, his family and others have removed over 1 million more tons. For size perspective, picture Mt Rushmore, where these marvelous heads are 60 feet high. All 4 heads on Rushmore combined would fit in just Crazy Horse's head, which is almost 9 stories tall. This huge bulldozer gives another size perspective. On the other side, one bulldozer did fly off the edge, but the lucky driver leaped to safety just in the nick of time. Crazy Horse is the largest sculpture in the world, on a scale higher than the Washington Monument or the tallest Egyptian pyramid. Overall, the Crazy Horse Colossus will be 563 feet high and 641 feet long. And the entire mountain is being carved 3-dimensionally in the round. The work on the mountain is done by one of the top explosives engineering teams in the country. They use small jackhammers and big hydraulic drills and a variety of high explosives. One of the finishing tools is a dangerous supersonic torch. Following completion of Crazy Horse's face, work began began on the massive horse's head. It'll be 22 stories high. The ears will be 42 feet long, the nostrils more than 30 feet in diameter. All the progress is guided by Korczak's scale models and books of measurements he prepared for that purpose. 18 years younger than her husband, Ruth Shulkowski has directed the project since Korczak's death. 7 of their sons and daughters work with her in a dynamic team effort. The visiting public also plays a key role because all the revenue for the nonprofit memorial comes from admissions, contributions, and gift sales. Crazy Horse is not a federal or state project because Korczak felt the interested public and not the taxpayers should finance the memorial. He believed so strongly in the free enterprise system, he twice turned down $10 million in potential federal funding. He felt the government would not complete the mountain carving and would not carry out the project's humanitarian goals. Ruth and their family share that philosophy.
The financial philosophy here at Crazy Horse has remained the same over all the years. Korczak believed in individual initiative and private enterprise. He didn't think that you had to stand around with your hand out waiting for the government to finance a project. This project has been financed entirely by people coming in here and their contributions and admissions. And it is not a federal or state project and will not be. We could go faster if we had more money, and it's people like yourselves who make this all possible. It doesn't have to be cash. Our museum, 90% of the items there have been gifts that we can share with others. We have a lot of equipment that has been given to us for the mountain. The explosives on the mountain are quite frequently gifts, and there are a lot of ways that people can help with things other than cash. People often ask when the mountain will be finished, and there is no definite answer, not because we're trying to be difficult, but it depends on the weather, it depends on finances, and Korczak always said it doesn't make any difference when it's finished. The important thing is that you keep on working and that there's always progress. I'm the luckiest person in the world. I love what I do. The magic that was here to start with has only grown, and it's just a wonderful life. Work is one of our greatest blessings. There's no question about it, and I love mine. And having the family together and 7 of the 10 working with us is just wonderful. The project at this point, and has been now for many years, is a family dream. The youngsters took up the dream as they were growing up. They have rallied around so well since Korczak passed away, and it's definitely a family project. And each one of the youngsters has a niche that they fill, a job that he or she does, and they can use their individual talents, and it's truly a family project. And it's wonderful to see them taking over so that you know there's continuity into the future.
Dad made it special, Dad and Mom made it special, and it's just that it's a dream, and it's a dream that can become reality. And it's important to be a part of that.
I do see it as something a lot bigger, and I see it as a lot more pressure on us to make sure that it keeps going. You have to work harder to keep it going. It's a lot more work than it was 5, 6, 7 years ago.
To me, it's the only job that I want to do for the rest of my life. He left us a letter that he wrote in 1952, and we never saw it until after he died. And he said in that letter that you don't have to do this, but if, after I'm gone, you take up the task of doing it, don't ever let it go.
I think it was born in us, the ones that chose to stay. I think, I don't know about the others, but I'm assuming they feel the same way, that I don't belong anyplace else. I like to go and visit, but I belong here.
Always at the heart of the memorial is Crazy Horse himself. He is a hero to many people, like Olympic gold medalist Billy Mills.
Crazy Horse is my hero for many, many reasons. I'm a member of the tribe, Oglala Lakota. Crazy Horse is Oglala Lakota. And growing up, we hear about Crazy Horse. Just a simple fact when he is asked, where are your lands around Crazy Horse? And he points and says, my land is where my people lie buried. I've identified with that. The memorial to me represents actually one of our greatest values, one of the greatest traits we can have as Lakota people, and that's storytelling. It represents the past. I find myself as a Native person, as a spiritual being, living a human experience. And the monument, Crazy Horse, represents the past, it represents the present, and it represents the future. It's, as Korshak has said so many times, storytelling in stone.
My lands are where my dead lie buried. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful?
I'm a storyteller. I'm a storyteller in stone. When standing there asked me to tell the story of that great chief who was killed many years ago, I wanted to tell the story of the North American Indians. I want to right a little of the wrong that they did to these people. Because this is part of American history. You know, there's an old saying, and I've quoted it 2 or 3 times in my life, and it goes like this. When the legends die, the dreams end. And when the dreams end, there is no more greatness.
We thank you all for coming. Now that you have seen the orientation program, there's a great deal more for you to see, and we don't want you to miss anything. The Indian Museum of North America, the outdoor veranda where the models of Crazy Horse are, and you can see the men working on the mount. Be sure you see our home in Korchak Studio and Workshop. And in the Native American Educational and Cultural Center, there are Native American artists and craftspeople creating their work. And we want friends. And the small friends grow into big ones. We're looking for people to learn more about Crazy Horse, to come here, and to be kind of a third generation. If you look at the family, which is one of the things that has interested the public and drawn them to this project, we're to our 4th generation, actually. The 3rd one is grandchildren, and there are a lot of them. We see visitors on the porch who will come in with a youngster they dig by their hand and say, you know, my parents brought me here when I was this size. Now, I'm going to be mine. And we're to a 3rd generation, and we want to attract them and reach out to everybody to help. Please take your time and see it all and make yourself right at home. And we hope that in the future you'll come back as the years go on and watch the progress.
If you'd like to share the Crazy Horse dream with family and friends,
There's also another road around on the front here and another below it. That way they can move machinery at any time, any place they want. And also, should somebody get hurt, they can get an ambulance to them. There's never been a fatality